Hello everybody, welcome back to a brand new iRacing AI NASCAR Cup Series career mode here on the channel. Today we are headed back to Atlanta, a track that plagued me earlier in the season, and hopefully we don't have a repeat of that here this weekend. But looking forward to the mile-and-a-half circuit here in Georgia. It is, keep in mind, the old Atlanta. It is not the new super speedway type of Atlanta Motor Speedway that we are used to in 2022, headed now into this 2023 season. But we were ready to get on track here from Atlanta Motor Speedway, and like I said earlier in the season, this track really plagued me. We ended up crashing in that one and just having a miserable day, and this track is so difficult to get around here, especially on long runs. So I was a bit concerned coming into this one again, but you know what, we've learned a lot hopefully since that point. Let's see what happens here today. We have the same NZXT purple and black colors on the car that we did last time we were here at Atlanta, but other than that, we have the real-life paint schemes here in Atlanta from everybody as usual. Big shout out to Davis Warren putting this collection together from the real-life second race in Atlanta in 2022. You can check out his Trading Paints page down below, and you can actually get access to all of his collections that he's made for past races and whatnot in the Cup Series from 2022, all the way back to the Car of Tomorrow days and everything in between. It's crazy what he's doing, but it's absolutely fantastic. He's also selling tickets to select races. All of the information to access his collections or contact him is listed down below in the description here. As you can see myself slipping and sliding all around here in practice and just kind of getting a feel for how this race is going to go in this NZXT machine. But overall, I mean, I was still looking forward to this one, and like I said, I hope that we've learned a lot here coming into this race. Now, I have adjusted the stages a little bit, still 75 laps. Stage 1 has not changed, 18 laps, but stage 2 I've added like quite literally only a few extra laps just to hopefully try and get the AI to be a little bit smarter with strategy and maybe come in for tires, because usually at the end of stage 2 is where we see a lot of issues take place with pitting, and that's mainly because of the AI not wanting to pit, because after they pitted in stage 1 they're actually good to get to the end of the race on feel, and it's kind of coming down to feel. They're choosing over tires at times. Even at an Atlanta, I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, even though tires are so important. Qualifying underway here though from Atlanta, and as we head down into turn 1 and 2, you want to be right down on that seam here. Now in the race we can make the outside work if we want to, but not in qualifying. That's not where we want to be, so I was continuing to try and find some time. A bit of a mistake right here actually on my second attempt here on the exit of turn 2, and well, that threw qualifying away, but we still in lap 1 actually put down a pretty competitive lap time. It was P12 is where we're going to be starting for this race here in Atlanta, so I was actually pretty happy with that, as we would call it a wrap. Let's head to the race.
Welcome to the great state of Georgia in the Atlanta Motor Speedway for today's NASCAR Cup race. I'm Alan Bailey with coverage on ARN. This track was originally opened back in 1960 and originally called Atlanta International Raceway up until 1990. Then in the mid-90s, this track was reconfigured to its current D-shaped configuration with 24 degrees of banking in the turns. The Speedway has announced that they're going to go ahead and bulldoze this place and put in 28 degrees of banking, effectively turning it into a super speedway, but many question if that's the right move, because this track not only has aged beautifully, but produces some of the fastest speeds in all of NASCAR, despite the fact that it's only a mile and a half and they don't require restrictor plates. Fans will debate for generations if they like the current 24-degree banked Atlanta or the high bank super speedway Atlanta. Only 8 races remaining until the playoffs. Who will stamp their ticket to the postseason today out at Atlanta?
A massive thank you as usual to Alan Bailey now as we are ready to get racing here from P12. Ryan Blaney's been on a summer tear, 2 wins back-to-back from Sonoma and Kentucky. Last episode we saw Tyler Reddick pick up his first win in the NASCAR Cup Series at Road America, just like he did in real life. We're underway for stage 1 here of 75 laps in Atlanta, 18 here in this first and opening stage. Chase Elliott follows in behind that number 12. You see Christopher Bell side by side with an Alliance teammate of Kurt Busch, who's around the outside as they head down this back straightaway on this opening lap here. As you can see, 2 by 2 by 2, Eric Almirola showing his nose out to the inside a little bit further back in the pack, maybe trying to force it 3 wide here. As you can see us all coming through the center of 3 and 4. I myself decent opening lap here on this outside line as we come down this front straightaway, though. Harvick up my inside. Kevin Harvick in dire need of a good day here now. He is quite a ways out of the playoffs right now, and you look at the bubble area of the playoff, it's so interesting because so many drivers are so close together on points that it's just kind of going back and forth. Names are swapping like crazy, and between 14th all the way through, I would say down to 24th or so. It's crazy how much just intensity is kind of amping up here in this playoff grid. You can see myself settling in here, though I didn't really go far in these first and opening laps in. We actually settled into our own kind of zone because there's cars, about a second in front of us. There's cars about 6/10 of a second behind us. William Byron now actually got within 3/10 of a second by the time we came through lap 7. You saw up ahead Eric Almirola with a bit of a run-in actually with Tyler Reddick. That really hurt his pace. He would actually fight it out with his teammate Kevin Harvick, and that would allow me to insert my name into the conversation here on lap 8 on the exit of turn 2. Almirola really starting to lose pace, and I was starting to lose grip quite quick here. It doesn't take long to start slipping and sliding around at a track surface like Atlanta Motor Speedway that's so worn down in the sim still. As you can see myself losing grip down through the front straightaway. This is how we crashed here earlier in the season. We're dealing with the same issue now. William Byron's able to pass me there around the outside down into turn 1. I'm trying to fight back here to get to his quarter panel, and he's actually going to run me out of room. There's going to be a little bit of contact with the 24. What in the world is he trying to do right there? Like, is he trying to get us both wrecked? You hear myself briefly on the radio now as, well, we decided to move up to the outside, and, well, you can see how that went on the first attempt. We give up a spot to Almirola, but you can see the battles continue here. We only have about 5 laps to go here in stage 1, and you can see Byron gets overtaken by Almirola, and I'm going to fight back again to the outside. I'm trying to make this outside work. If you can get to the outside of somebody and get up here by the wall and not have too many issues through the corner, you can definitely make this lane work, and you can see here on the exit of turn 2, sure enough, we are going to be able to pass that 24 Exalted Chevrolet of William Byron down this back straightaway and get clear of that 24. So back up into P13, not looking like stage points are going to be on the set for us here. You can see myself continuing to slide around now as we come through to lap 16, and just look at the grip loss through the tri-oval even. It's crazy how little grip you end up having here in Atlanta, but at the same time, as challenging as it is, that's what makes it so fun. I love racing this circuit here as we started the final lap of stage 1. A very calm stage 1 here in Atlanta. Ryan Blaney was out in front in command all stage. 7/10 of a second actually between him and Elliott. A big slide there for myself on the exit of turn 2. Fortunately, I kept in it and stayed ahead of the 24 of Byron, but as Ryan Blaney exiting turn 4 in that 12 Ford Mustang for Penske wins the stage over Elliott. You see Bell Haley with a great stage. Kurt Busch, Hamlin, Chastain, Suarez, LaJoy, and Tyler Reddick rounding out the top 10 as the caution flies, and everybody, well, not quite everybody, but most drivers would head into the pit lane for pit stops. However, there's always one hero that we seem to have every other race day out, and this time it was Ty Dillon in the number 42 Petty GMS Chevrolet. So he decided he was going to stay on the racetrack for this restart, and we'll see how that one is going to work itself out. You can see the mess of us trying to get here into the actual pit boxes. I mean, everyone's stomping on the brakes. Navigating around the AI in the pit lane is quite a challenge here in iRacing, but we were able to still gain spots, actually passing Daniel Suarez, who had a top 10 result. Byron got ahead of me, so you can see quite a bit of a difference here in the pit lane, but nonetheless, we were up here towards the top 10 now for stage 2 in a very good position as Ty Dillon leads us to the green flag here on the stage. You see immediately Chase Elliott gets caught napping there. A terrible restart for him. Maybe it was just a result of the 42. The 42 seems to get going well, but no one behind him did, so I'm not sure if he kind of stacked it up a little bit, but nonetheless, you can see the doors that we don't even have on stock cars are still getting blown off. The 42 as Ryan Blaney, Haley, Kurt Busch, Hamlin, and myself are all going to power by on the outside. Alex Bowman just in behind myself. Keep an eye on him here today in that 48, looking mighty speedy here. As you can see, though, if you're on the inside right now, you are screwed for the next probably quite a few laps here because you're going to lose so many positions now, and you can see Hamlin trying to put the fight there up in front of us to Justin Haley there side by side. So we're up into P5 here to start stage 2. Lap 42, at the end of 42 is the yellow instead of usually the end of lap 40. Only a couple extra laps, like I said, added, but I just wanted to see if it would make much of a difference. But you can see myself already on lap 2 struggling a little bit for grip here in the stage, and there goes Eric Jones up the inside. He passes me. It wasn't over for me getting past because here goes Eric Almirola around the outside on lap 26. Alex Bowman was, of course, getting closer as well, and he was about to make some passes, but fortunately, he would actually get overtaken by Tyler Reddick before he could do that, so we would be able to settle down for a moment. However, you can see that as we come through to lap 29, Reddick now to my right rear quarter panel, and I am just slipping and sliding all over the place. It's a little, very little slipping from the car, but it's just enough to just get on my nerves and get me in an uncomfortable and I guess vulnerable position for these AI right here. Now, as you can see, Reddick still trying to power by on the outside and nearly slide up into the door of the Road America winner. Now, as here goes Logano to my outside, taking advantage of that little mishap, and there we go. We are falling positions down to 9th place, nearly outside of the top 10, as we were continuing to battle it out with guys like Christopher Bell, his teammate Martin Truex Jr., and now we're battling it out with ourselves because we're sliding towards the inside while we keep it off the wall by only a matter of centimeters, but we are able to keep it going in the right direction. But now that's going to take us outside of the top 10. You see Bell, Harvick, as well, Larson, Todd Gilliland, fellow Rookie of the Year contender, and actually playoff contender currently. We got 3 rookies right now that have a chance to get the playoffs. Myself, Cindric, and Gilliland were all in the bubble area fighting for it. Imagine if just let alone 1 rookie getting into the playoffs is fantastic. Imagine if 3 of them managed to get in. You can see myself now resorting to the outside here, trying to make the outside work again, but still slipping around here, just trying to be patient. It's all about patience with this next-gen car at a track and a surface like Atlanta, but you can see this wasn't working out for myself in stage 2. I don't know what I did differently here compared to stage 1, but it was just, it felt like I was driving a completely different race car. Now, Daniel Suarez trying to fight up my inside, but you can see that when we get the outside rolling, it is really, really good. And then we have another slip up here, a big one through the tri-oval. Suarez goes around the outside. Here comes Austin Cindric, our Alliance teammate, maybe future actual teammate next season at Penske Racing. If they expand to 4 cars, we'll have to wait and see what's going to happen there. You can see Chastain as well. Alex Bowman is actually really falling off, and I'm falling off the track here as we save it again. I mean, the car was demonic. Immediately I said, okay, we need some big adjustments going into stage 3. I need to tighten up this car quite significantly, because in stage 1 it was mainly, or majority, it was kind of manageable, but this stage it's a completely different situation. I mean, I'm losing it down the back straightaway even, so definitely going to have to make some adjustments to tighten this thing up here in stage 3. Now, Corey LaJoie even passed me at this point. I was down to 22nd place, and at the same time, here we are with 2 laps to go on the stage, and we're having a terrible stage, and we're still in the top 25, so I was pretty happy with that. Final lap, however, in the stage underway, we're sliding all over the place. Kyle Busch now to my inside as Ryan Blaney's still out in front in command to win stage 2. It looks like we just got to get back for one more lap, and it's not going to happen. Into the wall we go.
Car in the wall. This stage will end under caution. It's Owen in the 21. Oh, many questioning if he has the talent to stay in the Cup Series.
You hear it there. The questions are starting to circulate. The caution, of course, is coming out to end the stage. But, I mean, embarrassing right there. I just simply lost it. And you see we have the pit for repairs icon on the top left of the screen, kind of covered there by the overlay of the scoreboard. However, this is going to probably be the end of our day in Atlanta. We would come into the pit lane and see what the damage was in terms of the repairs. How much time do we have? It was about 4 minutes and a half, and then we also had about 30 seconds of required repairs. So I could not start stage 3 because the car was in such awful shape. So I had to stay in the pit lane for the whole remainder of the time of repairs. I did go out once and just kind of test the car, and it was terrible. But the stage was underway, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but Ryan Blaney, I can tell you, was not out in front anymore. It was Alex Bowman over Kyle Busch, but I decided to go out on track, see if we can maybe salvage anything. However, the car drove so bad even after it got fully repaired. You can see right here, I'm having to like jolt the steering wheel down the straightaway, like kind of hook it to the right, and I was doing this multiple times on a straightaway, and then down into the corner, it would try to hook left like that. You see it right there briefly. It felt way more severe on the wheel than it actually looked, and I just realized, okay, I mean, 20 laps, we can't make up anything, and I'm struggling to keep this car going in the right direction, so I decided to just not be a safety hazard, and I pull off the circuit, and that's going to wrap up our day. Our day in Atlanta is over because of a personal mistake. That's going to be, is that our first DNF of the season, maybe second, I can't remember, but we have not DNF'd very often, but it's a DNF here today in Atlanta, and that is not what we need, and people questioning our ability here in the Cup Series, which is concerning. You know, we're in the battle for the playoffs. That's the thing. We have crashed a lot of cars this season. We look like a Cup Series rookie out here, but we have had a lot of speed. That's the only thing that we can kind of use to our advantage to kind of leverage myself in staying in the NASCAR Cup Series, hopefully now. As you can see, the final laps were underway in this race, and it was Alex Bowman who was out front and in command. Ryan Blaney way back, so I'm not sure exactly what happened with strategy and whatnot, but whatever did happen, it benefited Alex Bowman quite significantly because he was looking like he was about to win for the first time this season, and all Hendrick drivers other than Alex Bowman have won. But that changed here today in Atlanta. Out of turn 4, you see second place Kyle Busch. His best run recently. He's out of field, though, it looks like, out of turn 4. Alex Bowman, for the first time this season, wins in Atlanta. All Hendrick drivers have visited victory lane. Suarez second now because Kyle Busch and others as well. You see other drivers are jumping into the pit lane. What is going on here? It looks like we have cars out of field. This has completely shuffled the finishing order. Now, as you can see, Ryan Preece as well is going to give up a good finishing result. They would have been faster to limp it home and instead of stop in their box, but the rest of the field crosses the line, and it was a bit of a mess here. As you can see, the finishing order on the left side of your screen. While you look at that as well, we do have the point standings in. You can see after this day, Kyle Larson still leads the standings as well, but Cindric Suarez, they're only in by a little bit. And I myself am less than 40 points to the good. You see the drivers outside, 11, 27, 27, 29, and they're all down to 24th with Harvick, are all less than a race behind, so they are still close enough to be within striking distance going into the next set of races. But however, that is going to wrap it up for myself here today after an unfortunate ending for us here in the iRacing career mode. You know, can't afford anything like that again, especially in the playoff bubble position that we're in. So I hope you guys enjoyed, though. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Those would all be very appreciated. I will see you all in the next one. Have a great day, everybody.